Welcome to the Destination Saratoga All Access Podcast, brought to you by Discover Saratoga. And here is your host, Mackenzie Zarzicki.
This episode is sponsored by Finney Design Group. This is part 2 of my conversation with legendary race caller Tom Durkin and Hall of Fame jockey Ramon Dominguez. We pick up right where we left off, talking about their incredible careers, what it means to be inducted into the National Museum of Racing Hall of Fame, and why Saratoga Race Course is close to their hearts. They share more unforgettable stories and offer valuable advice for anyone looking to break into the world of horse racing. You're in for another great episode. Let's get into it. So looking back, there have obviously been many races that you have called. Is there a defining moment or a particular race that stands out in your memory?
My last one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was great. And the day I retired here was one of the most emotional days of my life. I had no idea that people appreciated the work I did and the depth of the emotion that they had and the breadth of it too. I mean, people from all over. So that last race was pretty cool. And then I went down into the winner's circle, and it was just a great day.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, we appreciate you.
Yeah.
I'm so honored to be sitting here with both of you. Have you ever ridden a horse before?
Once, maybe when I was a teenager, we decided to go to a stable in Chicago and ride horses. And I go, I don't know. And my buddy Anthony Cantori says, we got to do this because horses is beautiful.
I love that.
Yeah, I wasn't particularly traumatized by it all, but I mean, it wasn't like we were going 40 miles an hour, in a 6 furlong sprint race. It was kind of like walking around on a pony with a guy in front of you. So It wasn't very daring.
Hey, you did it.
Yeah, I am not. I am not in the least bit horsey. I'm allergic to horses. I feel uncomfortable around them. You will seldom see me in the backstretch. If you do see me in the backstretch, I'll be near that bar where they have Coors Light during racing afternoons. But I just don't. I'm not horsey. I love horses in my own way. I love describing their exploits and whatever, but I'm not mushy mush about it at all.
It's interesting. It's very interesting because you live and breathe horse racing, but you like them from afar.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Through binoculars is about as close as I want to get.
I love that. So Ramon, you kind of subtly breezed over it, but you had won over 21,000 races in your career?
Well, no, road.
No, that's
Road.
a lot.
Okay, I was going to say, I wasn't sure if I heard that. Okay, so you rode.
I rode, yes. In the United States, I won 4,985, yep.
That's amazing. So of the 21,000, it was 4,000, how many?
985. I always said that I won because I won 5,038 races altogether with my year as an apprentice in Venezuela. So yeah, but I was 15 shy from 5,000 in the United States when I retired.
That is amazing. That's such a feat that I feel like most jockeys probably strive for. What does it mean to you to be inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Well, that's a day that I will never forget, the day that well, there were two things. One is that they changed the criteria because I retired prematurely given a brain injury that I sustained while riding a race. And because of that, they were able to, the voting board the committee decided to vote for me to be eligible.
Yeah,
and I thought that,
by the way, they changed the rules so that he could get in the Hall of Fame.
Aww.
Yeah, and then when they called me from the museum, Brian Bouget, to tell me that I was inducted, oh my God, I was crying like crazy. My wife thought that something had happened. And you always have dreams, and I came to the United States, and my dreams were sort of short-term. I said, oh my gosh, initially I want to win races. And then after a few years, I want to be leading jockey at a meet. And I was able to accomplish that, and certainly things continue to grow, where I led the standings in the nation, and but I never ever dreamt. No, it wasn't even in my horizon to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And when that happened, it just hit me like I think sort of one of those moments that you kind of look back at your whole career
Yeah.
and in a fraction of a second, but it was an amazing day.
Oh, that's beautiful. Sometimes I feel like it's even more rewarding because it's all of that hard work paid off, right? And for you, I feel like that was just an epic moment of all of the stars aligning in your career and everything you had went through.
Definitely.
That's amazing. That's so cool. Do you have a particular moment in your career that you'll never forget, aside from being inducted in the Hall of Fame?
There are a few, and I certainly can summarize it with a few that are some of the most important here in Saratoga. Having won the Travers in a day heat, that was awesome because it is the Travers, but also crossing the line, I wasn't sure if I got beat by a nose, if I won by a nose, or the ultimate outcome, it was fine. I mean, to the heat for the race, it was amazing. But also, there were two times during this meet in Saratoga that I won 6 races in one day.
Wow.
However, the second time, unbeknown to me, when I win that 6th race, I'm coming to the winner's circle, and Tom Durkin says, this constitutes for the new record, 68 wins. It was a stake race.
Oh, wow.
That it was won, a greater race that it was won by a New York bred horse against Open Company. That's probably a lot of information for somebody who's new following racing, but it was a big deal. But I didn't know that 6th race that day was a new record for most wins for the meet. So it was like, it doesn't get any better than this. So yeah.
That's awesome. And who better than your friend here to deliver the good news?
There you go.
Certainly.
Yeah, I made it up, actually, so. Just wanted him to feel good.
Ugh. No, that's incredible. You guys are great. So after all, this question's for both of you. After all that you've accomplished in your careers, what keeps you passionate about the sport? Why do you keep coming back and staying involved in the various organizations, the racing museum, all the horse racing things?
Well, I mean, there is a certain amount of debt and gratitude, particularly for two sets of people. The people that work at the backstretch who really work hard and don't make a lot of money doing it and are extremely dedicated and talented. So it is to them and anybody that ever bet on a horse that I was able to live a dream. And I owe that debt of gratitude to them. And so in order to not bring upon centuries of Catholic Irish guilt, I try to do as much as I can to give back.
I love that.
I absolutely agree with Tom. Not only being able to help and support in any way we can the backbone of the sport, which is the backstretch employees, but also there is so much gratitude, as he said, about this industry, the profession for me. By now, certainly something that is in my blood. The sport is something that I have so many great memories, and I have been able to live an incredible life in the United States, all thanks to horse racing. So being able to contribute in any way is no sacrifice at all. It's something that you feel like this is really the only way. I just need to continue to be involved with racing and happy to help in any way I can.
That's beautiful. You both are so humble and so appreciative of the sport. It's nice to see people who have achieved such high success still being humble and wanting to give back, which is a good segue into the Jockey fundraiser in July. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, that is July 27th in Vapor nightclub here in Saratoga. It's open to the public. People can buy tickets. And it's a jockey karaoke where the jockeys will make a fool of themselves, have a blast.
That's great.
And and people can watch the jockeys sing or try to sing, benefiting the permanently disabled jockeys fund.
We don't let Ramon sing.
Thank God. Oh no, I tried twice and it was awful. You don't want to see that.
It was really bad. I'm the MC at that event, and it's
So July 27th.
July 27th.
Vapor
yes.
nightclub. You can get your tickets online, and the proceeds support the disabled jockeys fund.
Correct. Yes.
Awesome. I'm coming to that, and I hope you're singing.
Oh, it's fun. I don't sing. I just make fun of people.
I'm there for that.
You got to go with the talent that you got.
Yeah, right. I'm definitely not a singer, so Kudos to everyone brave enough to get on stage. What was that you said about public speaking? I think I'm more afraid of public singing than I am public speaking.
Oh, yeah, public singing would be really tough.
Oh, God. So I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Saratoga Race Course and ask you guys, why is Saratoga Race Course so special to you? Why do you love Saratoga as much as I do?
For me, Saratoga is definitely, in my case, I come to the United States and I'm already living the dream to be competing here. And I go from racetrack to racetrack, and ultimately I come to New York, initially Ecuador and Belmont, but then you come to understand the significance and how incredibly big Saratoga, racing in Saratoga is.
Yeah.
So we talk about the big leagues. These are the big leagues. And the meet is an extremely competitive meet because in any division, when it comes to the horses, the best of the best, evenly matched races, the best trainers, the best jockeys. So there is really no easy wins here. And when you work so hard and you win a race, it means that much more.
Yeah.
And then as you continue to advance and maybe acquire more business, hopefully be in the position which I was to, I had the dream to maybe win the title, and that is just emotion to yet another level. However, even while you're competing and throughout the whole meet trying to win this title, typically it's a close race. Mm-hmm. So winning a race means that much more to you than anywhere else where maybe you're winning the title by 20 wins.
Yeah.
So yes, the history behind the track and just knowing the champions and from any field, like whether it's the horses, the trainers, and the jockeys have competed here.
Yeah.
And you know that you are being part of a history.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. The one thing, if you could put one word to it, I would think would be ambiance. When you go to Disneyland or Disney World, you go into a old German castle. Neuschwanstein is the name of it, but it's a plastic version of a and they try to make everything. There's even a hotel Saratoga, at
Saratoga Springs,
at Disneyland, yeah, and so this is the real thing. It's not a facsimile of any of that, and you walk into a building that Ulysses S. Grant used to hang out in.
Pretty cool.
It's pretty cool, the history of it. And also, the town itself, this is so dedicated. The whole town is dedicated to horse racing. I mean, you can go anywhere, and it's the number one topic of conversation.
Yeah.
Unlike I suppose if you go to Cooperstown, people would be talking about baseball. But the one thing I think that sets Saratoga apart from almost any place I've ever been, if you come here and you walk around, everybody's smiling. Check it out next time you come here. I mean,
I love that.
People walk around with smiles on their faces.
Yeah.
They could have just lost a $100 photo finish and they'd still be
They're still
smiles on
smiling.
their faces. So it's not only my happy place, it's the happy place for hundreds of thousands of people.
We could rename the happiest place on the planet. What is
You
Disney's
could,
tagline?
yeah.
Happiest place in the world.
Yeah.
Happiest place on earth.
On earth.
Saratoga Springs. So this
Or at least the happiest place on Union Avenue in Saratoga.
Yeah.
But.
second happiest place, Caroline Street now. So that's a great leeway into how would you explain the atmosphere here in Saratoga? What are the crowds like? I know, and for you, right, we're the only place where the horses actually go through the crowds prior to coming out on the track. Mm-hmm. That's correct, right? I think the only
Pretty much.
yeah. So what is that like? What is the crowd like? In addition to the smiling faces, what is the experience like from both of your perspectives?
Yeah, it's almost tactile. I mean, when those horses walk through the crowd, you know, I'm as close to them as you are. I'm
Yeah.
looking in their eyes.
Yeah.
And you can see that. You can smell the liniment. You can hear the crack of the leather when they're putting the saddles on.
Yeah.
You're really up close. You're not watching it on a big TV screen like you are basically doing any other version of horse racing. The jockeys walk through the crowd.
Yes.
That's
Right through the crowd.
Yeah.
To get from unsaddling their horse to the jockey's room, and then from the jockey's room to the paddock, you're literally rubbing
Yeah.
shoulders with racing fans. So it is. There's a. It absorbs all of your senses.
It
you
really
know, you're
does.
just not watching it on TV. It's not.
Yeah, it's not
you know,
one-dimensional.
One-dimensional. It is live, right there for you.
That's a great description. What about from your perspective?
Yeah, one thing, I mean, I agree with both of you. And one thing that I can add is the whole fan experience in Saratoga is really unique also because you can come here and be on a picnic table with your family, see the horses from close range, and it's just a atmosphere that you don't really see elsewhere.
Yeah.
As Tom says, you can go with your kid and maybe have the program that the jockey that just won the race or just rode the race can sign it for you as they're coming. So can you imagine going to a basketball game or a baseball game where you're looking at these big stars and being able to really be that close to them? That is so amazing. And here in Saratoga, definitely is an atmosphere that is not just racing itself. It's not just for the person who is betting a couple of dollars. It's for somebody who also loves the sport or really loves the animal.
Yeah.
Being able to see these horses from close range.
We are so fortunate to have that here in Saratoga. And as I said to you guys before, I felt like I took it for granted as a child. And it wasn't until probably my late 20s that I became such a passionate horse racing fan. But in our house, we have a lot of horse racing decor and a lot of bobbleheads and all sorts of, tchotchkes.
You have the Tom Durkin bobblehead?
I don't. Do you have any extra? Could I have one? Signed, preferably?
We can talk.
I would love one. But I do have a pair of jockey goggles. So when my husband was a little boy, he also grew up in Schuylerville. He came to the track. And in the pathway, when you're coming out from a race to walk back to the jocks room, one of the jockeys gave him a pair of goggles. And
Hold on, one of the jockeys. I'm dying to see what jockey was it.
I don't know. It was probably like, I don't even know, 25, 30 years ago. But it sits on the shelf with all of our other stuff, and that's probably one of my favorite things. And then I think we talked a little bit about the American Pharoah when it was such a big deal here. We were on the top of the stretch, and it was crazy. And one of the horses lost a horseshoe. And one of my guy friends crawled under and grabbed it. And then the trainer came by, I think it was a trainer, and he gave him $100 to have the horseshoe back. I don't know why. And the horse didn't win. It wasn't American Pharoah, but I just remember being crammed like sardines at the top of the stretch, screaming our faces off for American Pharoah. And then this horseshoe flies off, and one of our friends grabbed it and gave it back. But it was so cool.
By the way, when you hang up the horseshoe, never hang a horseshoe up with the open end down.
It goes up, right? With the
It goes
opening.
up because you have
More superstitious.
another
superstition.
superstition. Good luck runs out if you have that horseshoe like that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, my mom used to put, I think it was 8s, right? It's like another superstition. If you put an 8 above your door, your front door, it's supposed to bring prosperity or whatever, financial wellness. I don't know, it was an old superstition, but I remember my mom would cut them out of a newspaper and tape it to the top of the door.
Is that why you keep on getting the wrong mail?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. But yeah, superstition. I think it was an 8. Now I'm questioning. I feel like it should be a 7. Isn't 7 a lucky number?
Yes.
But I feel like it was an 8. But yeah, superstitions. I love that with the horseshoe. Thank you for sharing that. I'm gonna have to put a horseshoe above my door now. Now here's a quick message from our sponsor. Finney Design Group is a multidisciplinary architecture, interior design, green building consulting, and construction management firm with a focus on sustainable and environmentally responsible construction methods. The group is headquartered in a sustainable green building located on the corner of Beekman Street and Grand Ave in the historic Dublin neighborhood of Saratoga Springs. Also known as the Beekman Street Arts District, they're actually located right above the Local, one of my favorite Irish pubs or taverns in Saratoga Springs. From architecture to interior design, landscape design to land use analysis, urban planning to rural planning, Finney Design Group has a long and accomplished track record of coordinating projects from the design phase through completion and construction, all while maintaining environmentally friendly standards. All right, so outside of the track, what do you guys do in Saratoga? What is your passion? What is your calling? What are your favorite things?
Lunch.
Lunch. Where do you go to lunch? Where can I find you?
I have a special seat at the old Bryan Inn.
Love the O'Brien Inn. Love that.
I love lunch.
I love lunch too. What about you?
I actually love to go running at the state park. Is to me is a diamond in. I mean, it's incredible that place to go there to go to see the water springs and. If you go early in the morning, you can see even deer, wild animals, wildlife, and beautiful. I love going to the park.
Here's the thing. Take a picture of me and a picture of Ramon, and the question is, which one of these guys goes running every day, and which one of these guys gets a cheeseburger and fries at the Old Brian Inn every day? See if you can answer that question.
It's all right, Tom. I'm more your speed.
Tom likes to golf, and he will be me playing golf because I don't golf. So yes, he's active too. So
that's cool. We have some good golf courses around here too. Where do you like to golf?
I do at the spa course. It's great.
Nice.
Yeah, that's my home track.
Jonathan owns the spa.
Yeah, Jonathan. Yep.
Nice guy. I've taken some lessons there before. I'm okay. I'm
Yeah.
okay. I've broken a few drivers in my day, so that's.
Yeah.
I have a hard swing, but I enjoy. If I connect with the ball, I can maybe hit it 180 yards. If I connect.
It's farther than I can hit.
if I can connect, it's one of those things. All right, moving on with my little index cards here. We'll start with you. What's one piece of advice you would give someone who's starting out in the horse racing world?
Go to school, get a degree. I mean, if I was 20-some years old right now, I'd make sure I had a backup plan. And if you, because, you 30 years down the line, if you look where racing was 30 years ago and where it is today, it's a business that's just getting smaller. So my advice would be to someone, just have a backup plan, but in the same breath, pursue your passion.
Yeah.
You're really not going to be a happy person or achieve the amount of happiness that you could get if you don't pursue your passion. That passion could be your family.
Yeah.
Okay, for many people, for most people. But for me, that passion was to describe horse races. And every day I went to my joy. I did not go to my job.
Yeah.
Joy, J-O-B, big difference.
What's that quote? If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
There you go.
Right?
that's not true.
What about you? What kind of advice would you give to a younger person who wants to become a jockey?
Yeah, whether it is to become a jockey or to do anything else in the industry, certainly there will always be a lot of opposition and a lot of people who will give them a justifiable reason as to why they can do it. I would say not to listen to that. If they really had a passion for whether it is to become a jockey, a trainer, a race caller, just to pursue their dreams, in terms of how to do it, they will find a way if they really want to do it. So certainly it doesn't hurt to, which is difficult, is sort of trying to ride two horses at the same time, and it doesn't pose obviously, but when you are super focused and dedicated to develop your skills and your new craft, again, whether it's a race caller or a jockey, you have to be fully committed. Having said that, when the time allows for you to maybe, whether it is to study something else, to really prepare for a plan B, that's something certainly worth having in mind, because it's a career that can last a long time, but at the same time, it can be fairly quick and certainly good to have a plan B.
Yeah, totally. What has horse racing taught you about life and resilience and, forging forward?
One lesson that I have learned through riding races has been that, and I think that this is synonymous with many things in life, that whenever I will go back and think about a race that I screwed up, I really wrote about a race, if I could correct it, 9 out of 10 times, it came down to really being more patient.
Okay.
It wasn't that, man, I should have just sent this horse a little bit harder, or no, it was about, I wish I would have been a little more patient. So I think that also applies to our lives, just about being patient.
Yeah, I say that about motherhood all the time. I could just be a little more patient, but kids. What about you?
Well, I think what racing taught me is that there's no substitute for hard work,
Yeah.
none whatsoever. But we have an old racetrack saying, I'd rather be lucky than good. So luck is going to play a part in everybody's life.
Yeah.
I got lucky. I always I would call races using my friends as the horses in my neighborhood. And then when I was in college, this guy happened to be hitchhiking up to Wisconsin where I was going to school. A guy picked him up, and my friend told him that I was a racetrack announcer, which was a bold-faced lie. And then this guy happened to be running little county fairs in Wisconsin.
Wow.
And he said, do you think Tom would like to call races for us? He goes, I'll talk to him. I don't know. He's pretty particular about where he calls races.
I love this story.
And if my buddy is not hitchhiking on old Highway 41 in Wisconsin on that particular day, when that particular person who ran those horse races was on that same highway at that same time, I'm not talking to you here today. So it's a great luck plays a great and then also in that same spirit, what racing could teach me is that I'm lucky. Okay, there's a lot of people that aren't.
Yeah.
And so don't go patting yourself on the back. I tried that one time. I dislocated my shoulder.
That's great advice.
I have to ask Tom something here, which is because I have thought about this luck, and like in his case, that this guy, it just seems like what a big coincidence, and really that is something that propelled his career into a direction that it makes you wonder, what if that didn't happen? What would I be today?
Yeah.
But the thing is, I feel like somehow, some way, he would have found the way because. So, and there is a similar story for me, and I have pondered this because of that, which my parents didn't want me to be a jockey when I was really young because the risk involved and so on. And they, although it was a stretch for them financially, they realized that not far from our home there was a show jumping school.
Okay.
So they asked me to see if I wanted to take show jumping lessons. I said sure, and I was riding for a year, show jumping horses. When my classes ended, I think I took classes 2-3 times a week, I had to take a bus to go home. And I got on a bus one day, and a kid that was about my age called me to the back of the bus because I had my helmet and my whip in my hand, and he said, "Are you a jockey?" And I said, "No, I ride show jumpers." And he said, "I'm exercising racehorses." I said, "Really? Where?" "Nearby, there is a training center." He told me where. He says, "Go and just talk to the trainer. Maybe they give you a shot." Next day, I went to see the trainer. They told me to come the following day. The race is history. I didn't go to show jumping much longer.
Wow.
I started riding racehorses. So I'm like, what if I didn't meet that kid in the bus,
Yeah. Wow, it's like serendipity. That's amazing. You're both born destined to do this, and you are very good at it. It was meant to be, for sure.
Well, I was good at it. I haven't done it in 10 years, so.
So if you could relive just one day at Saratoga, what day would it be and why?
I would say there was when I won 6 races the first time, because the day before it was crazy for me. The day before I rode at 3 different racetracks in 3 different states. I rode the first race here, which they happened to make a stake. It was a small stake, and I think they did it to help me because they knew that I was going out of town. I happened to win that race as the only race I won that day, but from there I went to the small airport, flew to go to Delaware. I rode at Delaware Park, and then from Delaware Park, I flew to Virginia. I rode in Virginia.
Wow.
So you figure that I would be really tired the next day, and I had good mounts, and I won 6 races. By my 6th win that day, it was a feeling that I have watched her run, and I could tell that when she made the lead too early, she was waiting for company for her friends, and she will kind of lose interest. So I said, I need to keep her bottled up behind horses in trouble. And sure enough, everything worked out where I was like that. But then there was this uncertainty whether the hole was going to open up for me. And sure enough, the last 16, the hole opened up. And he's on the edge of his seat too, because he's like, okay, he's watching the filly. Her name was Wet One.
Wow.
And Wet One finds the room, and Wet One here comes. And I was able to win the race. So yes, that was amazing. So yeah.
That's amazing. Now here's a quick message from our sponsor. I want to take a moment to talk about the coat room. Saratoga's best-kept secret and speakeasy. Tucked away on Broadway, the Coat Room brings a cozy, intimate vibe with handcrafted cocktails, gourmet bites, and top-notch service. Whether you're unwinding after a long day or just starting for a big night out, this is your invitation to step back in time and dine in style. Hosting a celebration or special gathering, the Coat Room is also available for private events. No password needed, just follow the coats. For hours, menus, and upcoming events, visit thecoatroom.com. So Belmont Stakes is coming up June 4th to the 8th here in Saratoga Springs. We're so lucky to be hosting it for the second year. Mm-hmm. You had said before that the Kentucky Derby winner is not running in the Preakness, but Sovereignty will be running at the Belmont Stakes. What kind of advice, what can you tell us about Belmont in terms of, betting or the horses coming, the purse, any of the inside deets? What do you got?
Yeah, it's a little too early to know because we need to wait for the Preakness. However, although we will not have a Triple Crown winner this year, still is going to be, or potential will be an extremely anticipated and exciting race because not only we may have a Sovereignty going against journalism, but also if another horse wins the Preakness and chooses to come into the Belmont, that will add to the mix. So it will definitely be a very exciting race.
That's very cool. Are there any jockeys or trainers or horses even that we should be watching this season?
I think the new rising star of jockeys is Dylan Davis. I mean, he in the last 2 years, he has just come on to be really one of the top jockeys in the country. And his father was a jockey. His two sisters are jockeys. It's a whole jockey family. But Dylan has really come around. So in terms of jockeys, I think he's going to be a rising star this year.
I couldn't agree more with Tom. And not only is he extremely amazing on top of a horse, very talented. He rides a very good race, but also he speaks so well. He is a great ambassador for the sport, so he has a great future ahead of him. In addition to Dylan, when it comes to the jockey colony, if Flavian Pratt and NYRA Ortiz are both going to be here, certainly they are bound to do better than anybody else given their business that they have, and that will certainly make a good challenge or good competition among them too.
Yeah. What about racehorse?
Winning the jockey title here at Saratoga, that really means a lot. You could win the jockey title at Aqueduct or even at Belmont for that matter, but to win that jockey title at Saratoga, and sometimes it gets very exciting coming down to the last few days, and the trainer title too as well.
What does it take to get the title?
You have to win more races than anybody else.
Okay. That's really cool.
Angel Cordero won it 13 times.
Wow.
That's why he's called the King of Saratoga.
What about trainers or horses? Anyone to look out for?
Well, I'm excited for Sovereignty to come around, and there's a lot of great 3-year-olds beside him. But whenever once you get that Kentucky Derby thing, that's yours for life. It's Sovereignty, Kentucky Derby winner, and so. Having him run the Travers here and the Belmont and the Travers, I mean, if I had to pick one horse, I'd look forward to it to be him.
So, Tom, Saratoga is known as the Graveyard of Champions. What does that mean, and how could that impact the Belmont Stakes?
That's just one of those things that people say, oh, it's an old bromide that, people say, oh, more favorites lose at Saratoga. That's not the case. No, favorites don't lose here any more than they lose anywhere else. Part of it had to do with Man of War. He only lost one race that was here at Saratoga to a horse whose name, of course, was Upset. But he won 20 out of 21 races. So, graveyard of favorites.
What about American Pharaoh?
Exactly.
Yeah, saying, oh, no. I mean, but he's, favorites win 30% of the time, they lose 70% of the time. And that figure here at Saratoga is no different. But, if you don't want to bet on a favorite because of that, then don't.
What do you think?
No, I do agree with Tom that maybe it gets magnified because you look at certain key horses that have lost here.
Yeah.
But the reality is...
Secretariat also lost here.
Secretariat, yeah. Now, yeah, when you look at it from that perspective, you're like, well, but the reality is, again, even the best horses will get beat. Certainly, the whole Man of War is unique just because the only race he lost was here. But at the same time, I mean, another thing that we have in racing is that's why they run them, and you have to run the race in order to win it. So, and if it was that easy, it certainly wouldn't be that interesting. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I always bet the gray horse. I keep it simple. All right, so I got 5 fast questions. It's this or that. Just say whatever comes to mind, okay? Turf or dirt?
Turf, definitely.
Turf.
Long shot or favorite?
Favorite.
Long shot.
Secretariat or Man of War?
Secretariat.
Dead heat.
Oh. Kentucky Derby or Travers Stakes?
Kentucky Derby.
Kentucky Derby.
Saratoga or Keeneland?
Saratoga.
Don't even ask that question.
Saratoga.
That means Saratoga,
Of
yes.
course it's Saratoga.
Okay, I'm going to throw in an extra zinger. Ready?
Yeah.
Mint Julep or Saratoga Sunrise?
I don't drink alcohol. Saratoga.
Saratoga water.
I do drink alcohol, and I would actually prefer the drink to be a Chianti Classico 1997, but that's not happening. But yeah, give me a mint julep.
Mint Julep.
I like bourbon.
So we've talked about a lot of different races and horse tracks. What is so special about Saratoga, and why should people come here this summer?
I think the proof is in the pudding, and I can go over all sorts of reasons why you should come here: the history, the restaurants, the weather, the great horse racing there is. But the bottom line is this, and this is the truth. I have never talked to a person who came to Saratoga that didn't come back.
Ooh.
Not one, not ever.
All right. I like that.
Must be doing something right.
Absolutely. What do you think?
Well, in terms of racing, for all the facts that we have stated before, it doesn't get any better than Saratoga. The overall experience for the fan, regardless of where they are, whether they are new, they are somebody who is seasoned horse racing fan, it doesn't get any better than Saratoga. But even when we take it outside the track, continuing with racing across the street, the National Museum of Racing and Hall of Fame is a must-go place. It's amazing. But the whole town, as Tom says, are into racing. I mean, you go to town and everybody's talking about the races, whether from the day or the next day. Great restaurants. We had the museum of the dance museum as well here in Saratoga. We have amazing parks that people can go, whether it is for a walk or run or bike, you name it. So it is a place that has so many different things to do, even outside racing. And certainly if you come during the meet, it's going to be the centerpiece of how everybody is really into the sport, and certainly a great way to get to know racing.
Yeah. Well, thank you both for being here with me today. This has been a blast. I am so honored to be able to chat with both of you. Thank you for your impact on Saratoga and on the horse racing industry. I had such a great time. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, Mackenzie was great. Thanks. Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
Please like, subscribe, rate, or review our show. Thank you.
This episode is sponsored by Finney Design Group. This podcast is brought to you by Discover Saratoga, the official tourism promotion agency of Saratoga County, produced by Bright-Sided Media, with video by Iron Glass Productions, and special thanks to Lift Marketing for their continued support.